the U.S. wants, be it a tariff war, a trade war, or any other type of war, we're ready to fight till the end. As Secretary of Defense, how do you take that?
Well, we're prepared. Those who long for peace must prepare for war. That's why we're rebuilding our military. That's why we're reestablishing deterrence and the warrior ethos, is because we live in a dangerous world with powerful, ascendant countries.
The U.S.-China trade war has kicked off. Just look at these containers piling up on the docks. These are all waiting to be exported.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Chinese workers protest. I mean, yeah, the high tariffs means that they got to cut jobs immediately. Immediately. Like, think about it. This affects profit margins immediately. So some of these factories got to react immediately by cutting jobs. And that means there's going to be mass protests. And a lot of people are saying in China that, well, if the people lose their jobs, hey, man, my man Xi might be out of leadership. Like, what do you think, bro? If mass people don't have a job, I mean, they can only fight back so many of their citizens.
Chinese businesses are facing a total collapse. Everyone from small businesses to behemoths like Temu are struggling to survive in this environment. Temu just announced that it is pausing all ads in the United States. This has led to Temu's App Store ranking falling off a cliff. And it's not just Temu. Chinese ports are shutting down and small businesses are literally burning to the ground. The workers at these businesses are so mad about not getting paid that they're burning the factories that they once worked at. So let's talk about all this.
They're burning factories, guys, because they can't get paid because of the tariffs. Bro, these people are pulling in zero, like, bro, either breaking even and making nothing, or they're in the negative, because a lot of Chinese companies are built on debt. I mean, that's the whole reason why the whole housing market crashes, because all they do is build shit on debt. But y'all don't know that much about the Chinese economy to make these assertions. They were, oh, China's going to dominate us. Oh, why are we doing this with China? This is dumb. No, is that y'all don't know how vulnerable China is.
Starting, of course, with Chinese factories literally shutting down overnight.
I finished cleaning. My shift is over, and now I'm unemployed. Where can I find a job? There are no orders, and I don't even have money to live on. Right now, with the tariff war going on,
and these people live paycheck to paycheck in these factories, like, bro, and all it took was a tariff. All it took was a tariff to mess with their profit margins. And, bro, these corporations are a lot more savage than their corporations in America. In America, you lay people, bro, we literally publicly shame corporations and companies for laying people off. Like, and then we low-key champion them for keeping people on during hard economic times. In China, they do not do that. They do not have that sentiment. They will let your ass go within a second. As soon as the profit margin go down by at least a couple percentage, like 5%, well, okay, cool. Now we need to get rid of 500 people. This is how they operate. And when you hit them with tariffs like this, it's going to cause mass unemployment. Now, how long could their government keep this up before their own people turn on the government? Who knows? Who knows?
Many people in China are losing their jobs. Even business owners aren't spared. Recently, everyone's talking about the increase in U.S. tariffs. For us in the textile industry, this is really a huge blow. A lot of our clients have either stopped placing orders or canceled them altogether. Things were already bad before, and
yeah, so that means all the orders that they oversupply for, remember, their economy that has an oversupply problem. So they was expecting orders for the next 3 years to come from these people. Gone. Yeah, now we're going to try to go find a cheaper option, a country that's not tariff, or an American-made option. These are the options that the consumer is left with. These are the options that people who buy into China's economy are left with. You can either buy this more expensive, go into this more expensive supplier and get tariffed and get hit with the tariff, or you can go somewhere else. This is a position that we put China in. And a lot of it's what China's hiding. I mean, Chinese propaganda does not make it out of China mostly. It's a really hard find to get it. So shout out to the guys who actually scour the internet for this stuff.
Now it's even more uncertain. With the intense competition going on everywhere, where can small and medium-sized businesses like us go? We have so much production capacity, but we can't sell overseas. If we try to sell in the domestic market, we're crushed by competition. It's like having too many eggs. They go bad before anyone eats them.
Damn. So their only hope is to sell internationally. They can't sell in the domestic market because they'll get crushed by competition because some of these textile companies are favored by the government. Some of the steel companies in China are favored by the government. There are certain companies that are complete Chinese loyalists, so the Chinese award them more government subsidies, which is a economic competition domestically over their competitors. What Biden was trying to do with the CHIPS Act.
Production capacity, but we can't sell overseas. If we try to sell in the domestic market, we're crushed by competition. It's like having too many eggs. They go bad before anyone eats them.
All the while this is happening, workers in some places are actually protesting. As you guys can see from the clips on your screen, this is from Nanjing Jijianshu. I'm sure the name is on the screen because I'm probably mispronouncing it. But a Volkswagen factory is shutting down after 16 years in operations, which has led to workers protesting because of their salary issues. I'm guessing by salary issues, they mean they haven't been paid. And this is exactly why they're protesting. So what do you guys think the CCP...
When you're ran on debt and you're pretty much paying your employees off debt and now all income is stopped, what can you do? The first thing you got to do is pay the damn debt, and then you could probably pay your employees. When you can't even pay the interest or your monthly payments, I mean, debt comes first, then employees, I guess, in China. So this is what they're dealing with. Honestly, a company's economics, well, we're dealing with a country whose whole economy is held up by debt.
Officials are doing in a time like this, when the workers are struggling and the government's job is to make sure the people of the country are living a good life and have fair opportunities. Well, this is the statement from someone who's very close to Xi Jinping. Wang Qishan, former vice president of China and a close ally of Xi Jinping, once famously declared, "We are not afraid of a trade war with the United States. The Chinese people can survive an entire year eating nothing but grass." This just makes me laugh. Because this...
Whoa. Former vice president of China and a close ally of Xi Jinping once famously declared, "We are not afraid of a trade war with the U.S. The Chinese people can survive an entire year eating nothing but grass." I mean, but what about you, my friend? I mean, you're one of the oligarchs, so it's kind of wild you're just speaking for your people like that. And then you censor your people's social media so nobody can hear what your people's actually saying. And then there got to be videos like this that come out so we can actually hear what's going on in China. I mean, bro, China's hiding their cards pretty damn well. And this is why these liberals are freaking out, because they don't know what's going on in China. If they knew the situation going on in China, they would honestly relax and be like, all right, I see this is just a waiting game. It's a day-by-day waiting game because things are getting worse day by day in China.
An entire year eating nothing but grass. This just makes me laugh. Because this guy is likely extremely rich. He's a very close ally of Xi Jinping, who himself is worth $1 billion.
You dishonor your people.
All the while being the chairman of the CCP. This guy who's making these comments, he was once a vice president of the party. I'm sure he has millions and millions of dollars, and he's telling Chinese citizens, normal people who are protesting for their salaries, to eat grass for a whole year. This reminds me of that scene from Shrek movie where the king goes, "Millions of you will die in this war, and that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make."
Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I am willing to make.
It seems the CCP has a habit of letting Chinese citizens starve. You see, Mao did this back in 1950s, and Xi Jinping is trying to do this in 2025.
He said, man, I'm about to remix the Mao. And at that point, we know what bro's getting to. Like I said, they don't care. We're talking about a Chinese government that don't care, that honestly you Dems are supporting. This is what you Dems are supporting by telling Trump to stop the bullshit. This is what you Dems are supporting, by the way. Remember that. Like, if we can get these people to, honestly, I'm gonna be honest, it sounds wild as hell, but enough unemployed people bro might honestly get overthrown. We could probably deal with a more rational leader who's not so anti-America. You never know. Or he can cut the bullshit, he can crawl, wave the white flag, and do proper business with us. We'd love to do it.
It doesn't seem like CCP has learned any lessons from their history, because they are actively pushing propaganda using Mao's own clips. Back in 1953, Mao was telling the world how it's ready to fight the United States till the end. even if that means millions of Chinese die. Just look at the graphics on your screen. Mao Zedong was one of the most deadliest dictators in the history, killing more people than Stalin and even Hitler. What makes this even more sad is the fact that Mao killed his own citizens. He
Yep.
starved 60 plus million Chinese citizens to death during peacetime. It wasn't even war. Mao was just so hell-bent on implementing communism that he didn't care how many lives it cost. And now, Xi Jinping and the CCP that he's managing is using speeches from Mao to, I guess, energize the Chinese space, Chinese citizens? Because this is what they're posting on Twitter.
As to how long this war will last, we are not the ones who can decide. It used to depend on President Truman, and it will depend on President Eisenhower, or whoever becomes the next US president. It's up to them. No matter how long this war is going to last, we'll never yield. We'll
pretty much saying we're just gonna outlast y'all. We're just gonna outweight you because Mao pretty much saying I'm gonna be here. But hey, one of y'all presidents is gonna concede. Pretty much is what he's saying, and that's what the Chinese are hoping on. And here's the thing, though: China was in a lot stronger position back then. They was able to do this with us back then. Now they damn near walked themselves off the cliff, and now they're at our mercy. It is what it is.
We'll fight until we completely triumph.
Now, it's not just those propaganda clips. CCP also hires millions and millions of internet commentators to push Chinese propaganda and downvote any videos that criticize the Chinese Communist government. So if you guys can just do us a quick favor and hit that like and subscribe button down below to help us counteract the CCP bots, it would help us out tremendously in the algorithm. Now, another thing CCP is...
We got some CCP bots in here. Every time you start talking about tariffs, in this whole trade war with China, it does seem like there's a lot of people who support China more than the U.S. I'm just looking at them like, hold on, are you even a U.S. citizen? Like those of y'all who support China said that we're doing a dumb thing. Are you even a U.S. citizen? Because at this point, man, it's kind of looking like we got the CCP bots up in here, and nah, we ain't going with that. We have a little bit too much pride and faith in our people to let y'all just take that away from us. Sorry.
Doing to get back at the United States for all the tariffs is they have banned all the Hollywood movies from China. Now, for all the Hollywood movies, China was a big market, but there's some positives for all of us from this.
Example, case one. Hey, what's good, China? How you doing?
This move by the CCP. You see, since China was such a big market for all the Hollywood producers, they were always very careful about not offending the CCP when they were building their movies and when they were building their storylines. That's why they shied away from any movies covering the Tiananmen Square massacre or the Cultural Revolution or anything like that. But now that CCP has banned Hollywood movies, I guess we can expect a lot more spicy stuff coming out when it relates to Chinese history and the true character and the true nature of the CCP and how they took power. So that's something I'm personally excited about. But all the while CCP is banning Hollywood movies, this is what the Chinese state media is pushing to Chinese citizens. Basically anti-American sentiment. Now, I want to remind you guys before I read this report, this is from the Chinese state media. And in China, media is controlled by the CCP. So they're getting their talking points straight from Xi Jinping, basically. Here's what they were reporting. Recently, CCTV News and other...
Here's the thing, though. A lot of people don't even know that they're repeating Chinese talking points. You know what? I finally understand how you Dems feel. Every time we try to talk about Russia and being, not wanting to walk into World War III, you say, oh, Russia propaganda. Well, now every time we hear you guys talk against America and how we're going to lose this trade war, we're going to send ourselves into economic despair. Oh, okay, Chinese propaganda. Move on. Hey, all right, bet. Chinese propaganda.
Their Chinese official media reported that due to the upcoming reciprocal tariffs on April 9th, local American residents rushed into supermarkets to grab goods in fear of soaring prices, and Americans set off a wave of stockpiling. Now, this report is translated from Chinese to English using computer translation, so grammar may be off, but this was the message, and this is the video they were showing. Unfortunately, the video they used is from 2015 or something, so clearly even the state media is lying. That's how desperate CCP is getting, that they have to push.
See, this is the story that they're selling about us. This is what they're selling. They just had to sell old COVID images. Well, ironic that they choose, images from COVID. I'm pretty sure they're real proud about that. Sure, there was real
fake propaganda from clearly a different time period. The worst part of all this is the Chinese people living here in the United States who don't really like the CCP decided to hit back. However, videos shot by several local Chinese showed that the situation reported by Chinese official media did not appear in the videos. On April 7th, Tommy, who lives in Los Angeles, went to a supermarket near his home. He said it's probably a small probability event that was exaggerated. This supermarket has a lot of Chinese made products and no one rushed to buy them. It's all same as usual. Lao Sun, a Chinese living in Seattle, filmed a Costco supermarket near his home. He said TikTok is all nonsense. These bastards are really good at talking nonsense. Another writer said that there was no looting, it's all calm as usual. Clearly, this story was a dud. But all the while CCP is trying to push fake propaganda, it's ignoring real Chinese who are struggling. Chinese citizens who have worked hard all their lives and now they can't make a living to support their family and support their kids. Here we have an example of a law school graduate basically breaking down on social media saying that the daily wage that the youth is getting in China, more specifically a highly educated youth, a law school graduate, is not enough to survive on.
I told my supervisor that what I wanted was insurance. Deduct it from my salary. My monthly salary is 25,000 new Taiwan dollars. After deducting insurance, I get about 18,000 to 19,000 new Taiwan dollars. I work 12 hours a day. Based on that, my daily wage is over 800 new Taiwan dollars, so more than 30 new Taiwan dollars per hour. Why do I want insurance? Because if I get hurt and you're not willing to pay for treatment, you'll ask for medical records and receipts. And I'll need to find a lawyer to file a lawsuit. If I don't have insurance, how can I afford a lawyer? Every day I get scolded by customers.
Bro, this girl surviving on about $259. $259, and that's after they take out her health care and all that good stuff, or health insurance. Wow. $259? How are you surviving? Hopefully you ain't single. Like, oh Lord, man, y'all women think y'all struggling.
Mocked by seniors and disrespected by nurses. I feel like no one sees us as people. I am a caregiver, helping the elderly with baths, massages, feeding, and cleaning poop. The elderly think I'm a maid. My employer treats me like a machine. You're laughing, right? Because
yeah, because when you get paid so little, yeah, they're gonna treat you like that. They're gonna treat you how you get paid, sweetheart, and that's the. I mean, shit, come to America, baby girl. You have your own house, a nice ass car. I mean, your own shit credit. I mean, you'd be doing well if you're a nurse. You're a nurse, like medical nurse, like even if you were a nurse who just took care of old people, you'd be doing 20 times better in America. Oh man. I mean, some of y'all really don't understand how bad they got it in China. But okay, keep on preaching that Chinese propaganda. See what you're doing here. Like, this is what you guys support. This is what you guys want to continue? The suffering of the Chinese people so you guys can get like cheap goods and sell out the American middle class? This is what we're supporting. Okay.
even the lawyer says my case can't go to trial. If you treat caregivers like me the same way as construction workers, at least they're covered. I am not. I can't afford to get sick or injured because there's no compensation. Even if I faint, people say I'm just pretending because no one sees us as important. You see that man over there? Small frame, hunched back, carrying a huge load. He belongs to a family. He sends money home. He works from morning to night, never complains, never takes a break because if he does, he won't get paid. His family depends on him, so he has no choice. Even if he's hurt, he has to keep working. What insurance? I don't understand. We don't have insurance. We don't have holidays. We work every day. You wouldn't understand.
A law school graduate broke down saying that their salary of 2,500 yuan, social security deductions are 1,800 yuan, leaving them with 700 yuan a month. That's just over 30 yuan every single day. I don't know about you guys, but to me, it doesn't seem like that the Chinese citizens are well.
That's $4 a day? They rocking with $4 a day. Like, hey, nah, that's an. Nah. I couldn't imagine. I could not imagine.
To eat grass for a year.
Bro, there's no job. There's literally no job out here in America where you're surviving off like, bro, $4 a day. Like, I don't know about that. I don't know, guys. I don't think we're struggling that hard in America. Like, bro, you'd be homeless, bro. The homeless getting more money than this lady. $4 a day, bro. Dude can stand out on the street and make that.
Year, like the CCP vice president said. This is what happens when politicians
are homeless doing better than working Chinese people. Like, think about that. We got some people who are homeless, making more money than somebody who done worked a whole damn day doing an honest work.
Get too rich. They can't relate with normal people. In reality, when citizens are not happy, they turn to violence. They turn to burning stuff down. And that's exactly what was happening in China even before this trade war started. And things have only escalated. Here's details about Chinese citizens, Chinese workers burning down factories because of salary issues.
At the end of 2024, multiple factories in China were reportedly set on fire by workers who had not been paid and could not afford to return home for the Lunar New Year. This year, after work resumed, fires have broken out again in different regions, and they are spreading even faster. At 6:33 a.m. on February 17, a fire broke out at the Guangcheng Industrial Park in Jiangbei District, Chongqing. The blaze lasted more than 7 hours, destroying an entire warehouse. Several people in Chongqing shared videos on social media showing a factory building at the industrial park engulfed in flames, with thick smoke billowing into the sky. Around 10 a.m., a reporter from Cover News arrived at the scene. Police had set up cordon about 400 meters from the fire, blocking access for pedestrians and vehicles. Fire hoses stretched for about 1 kilometer, drawing water from a nearby river in the industrial park.
And now it seems things are picking up again. On April 14th in Hsinchu, China, a fire broke out at an equipment company with explosions heard at the scene. Some netizens claimed that the factory on fire is a manufacturer of military training equipment.
I mean, yeah, you take away people's like whole living way of life from them, pretty much how they're gonna support their life. And yeah, I can see where they get violent. I can see that. Burning down factories.
To me, it doesn't seem like that the Chinese citizens are happy.
The Chinese government probably paid for it.
With CCP's decision to fight back in this trade war, because at the end of the day, China is dependent on US dollars and China needs the US consumer market. China sells almost $450 billion of goods to United States, and that's not including all the stuff that they send to Hong Kong and then that stuff comes to the United States. That's also not including stuff they send to Vietnam, Cambodia, and Mexico, and then all that stuff comes into the United States. You see, the goal with putting tariffs on all the countries was to make sure China doesn't get away with all these loopholes that they've been using to exploit the tariff rules. In fact, the biggest loophole that's been closed now is the de minimis provision in the tariff law that we had that was exploited by companies like Temu and Shein. You see, when you and me go out to travel overseas and we want to bring back souvenirs, government has this rule called de minimis provision. What that basically means is too small to trifle with. How this actually works is, let's say if we go overseas and we're bringing back something as a souvenir, we don't have to declare it at customs. We don't have to pay the tariff on anything we're bringing back as long as it's less than $800. You see, this is a great provision, great exception that we had built in for US citizens. But companies like Temu and Shein started exploiting it at a massive scale. In fact, last year, Temu and Shein combined shipped in more than 1 billion packages under this exception. And how they would do it is basically they would send...
So that's how they get that shit for like so damn cheap. Like, bro, things be like, what, back massager for $3? You can get you a drone for like $10, and it's like, bro, what? Like, trust me, I was thinking somebody would show me the Temu prices, and I'm just like, yeah, no, there's no way. I thought it was a whole scam. I'm like, bro, I'm not putting in my card into this bullshit. Like, hell nah, bro, they about to take my information and run off with it. I didn't trust it, but to actually figure that this was real and it was really sending out packages, I was quite surprised. I thought this was a whole scam. I mean, bro, you look at them Temu prices at come on, bro. You can't tell me that didn't look like a scam.
containers full of orders to countries like Mexico and Canada, and there they will bring it to their warehouses where they will break apart all the orders in small packages of $800 or less, and then they will bring it into the United States through the land border we have with both these countries. This way, Temu and Shein would not have to pay any tariffs on their orders. And on top of that, all the money, all the product that they bring in using this method doesn't get counted as a trade deficit against US-China trade. So that means in reality, the US-China trade deficit is much, much bigger than the official number states.
Damn. Because so pretty much since they use this loophole, that's not even counted into the current trade deficit we got with them now, which is, I mean, what is it? I think right now, what is that, like 270 billion?
According to official numbers, we export roughly $150 billion to China and we import roughly $450 billion from China. That means we have around $300 billion of trade deficit. When in reality, this number doesn't take into account all the loophole exploitation that Chinese companies carry out. This was definitely a bad thing for the US economy, but good part, or I guess blessing in disguise, is during this trade war, we are way less dependent on China than China is on us. We are the deficit nation. We are the people who are buying Chinese stuff. So at the end of the day, China needs the dollars more than we need cheap Chinese stuff.
Now, when you think about this with tariffs, you say, okay, who's flexible and who's inflexible? We can reallocate our demand across borders. Factories that are already built cannot move. They are stuck where they are. China has developed factories for selling to the US consumer market. They have trained workers for selling to the US consumer market. We can move our demand across borders. Those factories and citizens cannot move. They're stuck where they are. And so the incidence will fall on them, just as in the property tax example, right? Now, does this automatically happen on day one? No. But will this happen in the fullness of time? Absolutely. This is just the basic economics of incidence in public finance. And and if the incidence is falling on other countries because they're inflexible, the Chinese now have to find someplace else to absorb their demand, to absorb their excess supply. And guess what? There isn't anywhere else to absorb their excess supply. Who's going to buy as much as American consumers?
Yeah, and whose dollar is going to be converted into 7 won like the American consumers? They need our dollars. Our dollars honestly are, still the strongest. We still have a pretty good conversion rate when it comes to the dollar. Actually, they damn near survive off of our dollar because their dollar ain't worth nothing.
Nobody, right? There is no place else to absorb their excess supply.
Remember, if you look at the exchange rate, $1 US is 7 of theirs.
This is exactly why
a little bit over 7.
CCP is sending in their propagandists on US television to push this narrative that China can survive without US markets, even though the reality is it cannot. But we still have to understand what CCP is trying to do. They cannot come into negotiations saying they are desperate, because at that point they'll look too weak to Chinese people, and that's why CCP is sending out all these people on US television to say China is much stronger than the United States, all the while CCP is willing to negotiate using back channels.
China is fully prepared to fight to the very end because the world is big enough that the United States is not the totality of the market in the world. So if the United States wants to go in that direction of completely shutting itself out of the China market, be my guest.
I mean, no, my friend, we're shutting you out of the market by working with everybody else and making you look like the oddball out. But like I said, y'all can continue framing it however y'all like, but as we go day by day, your country falls apart bit by bit.
Yeah, and China will lose the US market, which, as I've said, is 15%.
We don't care. We don't care. China has been here for 5,000.
My boy was like,
we do not care.
Years. Most of the time, there was no United States, and we survived. And if the United States wants to bully China, we will deal with the situation without the United States. And we expect to survive for another 5,000 years.
But in my humble opinion, I think CCP picked the wrong guy, because this guy has been exposed for saying anything CCP wants. In an interview earlier this year, he tried arguing that Chinese president is just like a UK prime minister or a US president. But when asked if he can criticize anything that the Chinese president has done, he couldn't even come up with a single thing. That just goes to show the kind of fear that CCP instills in its citizens to never ever criticize the party or party's action.
We prefer a system that works for the benefit of the Chinese people.
I've not said a word about what works or not. You got great economic growth.
But
you're a dictatorship.
No, facts. I'm sorry, I gotta speak on that. They do it for the green, bro. They did it for the blue bubble. I ain't gonna lie. We did, like, bro, everybody bought iPhones, and I remember I called my friends back out about it, like, about a decade ago. It was like, bro, you guys don't even like these phones. You're just doing it for the hoes. It's like you're literally doing this because all the girls says that, oh, I ain't gonna talk to no dude without an iPhone. Bruh. Like, bro, this is we're literally doing what? We're buying phones for hoes now. This is what we do. Like, how manly is this? Oh yeah, I need to get an iPhone, bro. Why? I don't want that blue text. I'm like, so you're telling me there's more things important in your life as a man as your message being sent through in blue? Oh man. But good times though. Good times.
There is no dictatorship, Mehdi.
You just
Do you
admitted
want me to
that there's no name on the ballot paper, no votes against him, and they all just follow him. That's a dictatorship.
Mehdi, when you have
You
a
can say
succession
my name
of
multiple
the
times,
king after
but
the
it's a
queen,
dictatorship.
How many candidates are there on the ballot paper?
How many? What? King and queen?
When the king succeeds the queen,
yes.
How many candidates are there on the ballot paper?
How many?
Does that make Britain not a democracy?
Well, you're asking the wrong guy. I'm a Republican, so I think we should be a full democracy and get rid of the monarchy. And I can say that here. You can't say that in China.
You cannot take any action against them.
Yes, I can, actually. I can go out on the street. I can hold up a placard and say, let's get rid of King Charles. I can create a whole protest outside Buckingham Palace. You can't do that in China. You can't even put one other person's name on a ballot paper. That's how insecure your leader is.
I'm a lawyer.
YouTube just dropped a mind-boggling announcement. It is paying creators $64 million.
But all right, now hopefully we got that. Hopefully.